Okay, so we know how to render now a grid of courses right, from a JSON file, and we would like to do something similar for a list. Right now, a list just doesn't render anything, and course grid is rendering these 5 different courses. Notice that we could do the same technique. We could use the same technique that we can pass in the same content of courses down to the list. Right, so let's do that. Right, we'll replace this with a function. Well, first of all, we'll replace component and we'll say render instead, and we can say use the following course list, right, which right now it doesn't contain anything, and we're going to pass the same identical courses down to this element, courses, right, and in this course list we're going to receive as an argument those courses down here, so courses, right, and in this one, instead of rendering as a grid, we might decide to render it as a list. Right? So for instance, we might first group this into one single div, right? And then in here we can have a list group, and then in here we can then render individual elements as hyperlinks, and these might be list group items that might contain a particular course. So course 1, 2, 3. Right, let's see what that renders. There it is. So it's course 1, 2, 3. Right. What I'd like to be able to do is pass this array of courses to the course list. It'll iterate and render this dynamically. Yes. Right. Using the same identical mechanism of mapping over this array and then returning each one of these elements. So we know what the template looks like. We just need to iterate over them and generate a whole bunch of these anchors. Yes. With this correct styling. All right, so let's do that. Right, what we want to do is we're going to do a map. We're going to do a courses.map, right? And as we iterate over each one of the courses, right, we're going to return. What are we returning? This right here, right there. So let's grab that. We'll paste it, and let's see what it returns. Notice that right now it's hard coded to course 1, 2, 3 because we're not using the object in any way, right? So we can change that and say that actually I want this to be the course.title here, right? And now it re-renders with all the titles of those courses. Make sense, right? It's not rendering as hyperlinks because I don't have an href. So right now for this href, I'm just going to put a hashtag there. Now it renders as hyperlinks, right? Now this hyperlink could become fairly complex. Maybe I want to add an additional button somewhere because I want to edit or I want to remove that item. Maybe I want to put a button here, for delete, and then maybe have a class here that is a button danger, right? That looks like red, and then maybe I want to push it all the way to the right hand side. And maybe I want to float this to the right-hand side. So it's on the right-hand side so I can remove it or edit it or whatever I want. So, I mean, this could get fairly complex, yes? So, like always, right, the best practice here is to use React's component technology to move that to a separate place, right? Tell it and not render everything here, yes? Just like we abstracted everything for course list, this too would be a very good candidate to abstract this and move it over to another component. So let's do that next.